Welcome to Sconny Wandering. If you're new to the channel, this channel is normally dedicated to traveling the parks of Wisconsin. But in this multi-part series, come along on the journey of a daddy-daughter trip out to Utah from Wisconsin. We'll see the adventures along the way, and you'll see what happens to our trip and how we adapt. Not everything always goes the way you plan. Come enjoy the journey with us, and let's get out there.
We're about to leave Colorado and get into Utah.
Bye, Colorado.
Bye, Colorado.
Oh.
Hello, Utah.
There's the selfie. Welcome to Utah. I don't have stickers yet, but I have magnets. If you're here, you can steal it if you want. She says I'm supposed to do it this way.
What? Bright sign.
Well, we're making our first hike in Utah. All the way from our van over there, up this hill to the viewpoint. Okay, we made it all the way to the viewpoint. Yay! There's Colorado. Utah's over here. You might notice in Colorado it's a little hazy and there's a plume of smoke coming up. Was a forest fire out there somewhere, and the breeze took it into our campsite last night. Woke up with some ash all over our all over the front of the van. But here's our viewpoint. Okay, that's the La Salle Mountains up ahead, I believe. And I should be able to see them from our campsite in Arches on the other side. We are headed down 128 off of 70. This will take us down to the Colorado River and take us straight into Moab. All right, we hit the river. You can tell we hit the river because things suddenly got very green and there was almost a forest of cottonwood trees next to desolate nothingness. So we're definitely in the desert, and boy, does water make a difference. We're at the Dewy Bridge that crosses the Colorado River. Does this bridge look useful?
You just hop on those.
Oh, so you sort of like swing from one to the next?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the Dewy Suspension Bridge, one of the longest spanning suspension bridges in Utah. It's around for a long time, helped bring commerce through here. Now this location, if you get the right vehicle, I think there is a path that goes off that way, and on the, let's say the, where am I, the western side of the river over here, there is a Jeep trail that heads up off that way. I have not taken the van on that. Not worth it. This bridge doesn't look like it was very wide, but it did its job. Now we're gonna head on, follow 128 down the Colorado, through the canyons, all the way to Moab. Alright, on the other side of the river there was a campground at Dewy Bridge. I don't know whose ladders those are. It's traveled road. She found a lizard. It's a beautiful road though. Through this wonderful canyon.
That lizard looks a little scary, so I'm not moving.
That was the second car that just went by in like 15 minutes since we've been here, and this little stop. By the way, this is probably one of the last times I'm going to be able to look out there, see the canyon, and see the LaSalle Mountains up there too. This is really a pretty spot. I think I need to go down to the river. She's trying to find her way up onto a rock over there. We are standing in the middle of the Colorado River. There's a little water over there. Whole lot of dry riverbed right here, and a van up there, and massive canyon cliffs all around us. She's still working on her rock skipping. A little further down 128 and we get into the Fisher Towers district here. We have passed several small campgrounds along the water that you can stay at. I'm not sure what the reservation is like for those. There may be like 10 or 15 sites each. That's some pretty dramatic scenery out here. Colorado's off to our right along the edge of those bluffs. And you see these great vast walls of rock, knowing that the river's going to give us a tiny little gap to get through to find our way to Moab. Castle Creek Winery here on the edge. I don't know if that's the full establishment. What's the sign say, CC? Oh, Red Cliffs Lodge. Gee, wonder where they got the name from. I can't even get the scale on the camera here of how big these things are. So after the Fisher Tower District, which was, you know, wide open canyons with the towers, we're back into these narrow canyons as we get closer to Moab. Here's one of those campgrounds right along the river. Just a few sites and a bathroom. Another campground right after that. This is Big Bend Campground. Big Bend Recreation Area. And there's people with ATVs here too. So there must be a trail somewhere nearby. More sites down here on Big Bend. And this is now Oak Grove Campground, just past Big Bend. You get a little closer to Moab. Some walk-in tent sites hiding in those trees. Hell Canyon Campground. They're just on top of each other. They're hiding down amongst those trees along the river. Another campground here. This is Dunks Canyon Campground, right along the river. They're hiding down there amongst the rocks. As we come down, we, being the sleepy one over here, are going to be going straight out to Arches. Alright, we just turned right on 191 and heading out to Arches. Crossing the Colorado here. And we are coming up on Arches National Park. The entrance is to my right and I can see people switchbacking right on up that cliff face. That looks like it's going to be a fun drive. First stop, Courthouse Towers viewpoint. We got the gossips across the street. And trail off to Wall Street. We got a couple days here. So we're gonna kind of work our way straight to the back of the park, to Devil's Garden, and explore the campground. What no one ever says when you're viewing all this is how much elevation change there is from the entrance in. It's been pretty much climbing the whole way, and I'm many miles in. So it's not a flat entrance road through here. Alright, we are at the back of the park, the Devil's Garden. We have a little picnic area. There will be parking for the trails off to the left, over there. But we are going to be going to the right out of here to the campground, because it is just after 3 and we should be able to check in. Alright. We've entered the campground. So, while kid is resting, she got too tired, hopefully she doesn't get too toasty in the van, I decided to take the trail right next to the restroom in the back of the campground. That takes me to Broken Arch and 2 other arches. So let's go see what we find out here. And this is what that area is like. Well, the sands on this trail are very soft. I hit my first marker. Tapestry Arch, Broken Arch. Tapestry Arch, let's go there because not many people get there, because the only real trailhead is off the campground. So it's kind of a unvisited arch. Well, trail markers can be hard to come by. I mean, I came up from somewhere over there, a little vague, but they're telling me at least I'm on the right path. I'm pretty sure I'm heading over there. Just trying to find the right way to go there. The trails aren't easy to find, but they're kind of neat. Got all sorts of great fins out here. The arch is just around the corner here. There. I'm gonna go see if I can sit up in that shade there. What kind of makes Tapestry Arch cool is it's got its neighbors of future arches here in the process. This is kind of a nice spot for my first arch. I can still see the LaSalle Mountains over there. I'm all alone out here. Let's go find that shade. Yep, found the shady spot. Back here under the arch. Laying under the arch. I've already been to that arch. She can go this time. Alright, so we're at the end of the day here in Devil's Garden Campground. The sun is setting, it's getting dark. I lost my batteries died while we were out on the Arch Trail. So the first arch we visited was Tapestry Arch, then we went over to Broken Arch, made the loop all the way up to Sand Dune Arch. That was a little out of the way, and then worked our way back over to the campground. There is a loop that comes in and out of the campground for that. I have just enough internet service out here to find out that my campground, my tours for tomorrow, which I had a whitewater rafting and a 4x4 tour, kind of up in the air. A 4x4 tour was originally almost canceled because they need 3 people as guests to run it, and we were only 2. They did find another couple to come along, so that's going to happen. That's at 4 o'clock into the evening through Canyonlands. Our rafting trip, which is supposed to start at 7 or 8 in the morning, has been pushed back to 11 because 11 other people on that trip, which would have left just the 2 of us, couldn't make it because they're on the wrong side of I-70 on Grand Junction, where there is a forest fire. We got past that early enough this morning, apparently. We didn't know it was that bad. There was a sign saying forest fires in area, don't call 911. We know about it. We knew about it because we had ash falling on us the night before in Rifle Gap, and I woke up this morning, I had to brush the ash off the van. So that kind of held things up, but luckily I had just enough internet to get my cell phone, not a cell phone, but texts and emails through. So there's that much internet out here. Phone calls I couldn't get. So that wraps up today. Tomorrow I've got all those adventures going, but since that rafting trip was moved to later, it ends at 3:30. I got to run a couple doors down afterwards to get the 4x4 trip less than a half an hour later. I'll see you in the morning. So we're squeezing in Dead Horse Point State Park. A quick stop here before we go down to Moab and catch our rafting tour trip. We wanted to get this in so we'd have a reference point later when we're taking our 4x4 ride. And it's going to be somewhere down there, I believe, later today. But it's a hike out here. It's a beautiful drive. Hopefully we have enough time. We have about a half an hour here before we gotta hustle our way back to Moab, which is really just on the other side of the hill, but it's about an hour drive down. But this is an amazing place. We're right by the visitor center here right now. We'll go out to Dead Horse Point next. Okay, now I am at the viewpoint, looking over the Horseshoe Bend in the Colorado, overlooking the trails down below. That's Canyonlands down there. We're in Dead Horse State Park up here. And just like that, our time is done. We got to get back to go rafting today. Out on the Colorado now. Back up 128 with Adrift Adventures. There's my raft out there, the blue one. They're putting our raft in right now. We're gonna go floating down a few miles down the river this afternoon with lunch. All right, Cece, what'd you just do?
Went river.
Picnic on the beach. Tell them where we were this morning.
Up there.
Dead Horse Point, right up on top there. We are now at Thelma and Louise Point, overlooking the Colorado. This is where the car went off the cliff. The sun is just catching Dead Horse Point up there, and I am at the lower level of the horseshoe. Canyonlands National Park. Where's my light? There I am. Island in the Sky District on the White Rim Trail, and this is Muscleman Arch. All right, on the Shafer Trail. So let's see here. Out there, Dead Horse Point. Down below, coming in, is the Potash Road. We took the White Rim Trail out, and then we took Shafer Trail down, and it snakes up somewhere up in that canyon and then along the rim over to here. Good morning. This is our third day in Utah. We are going to taking the Devil's Garden Trail this morning. You ready, kid?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Coming up on our first arch, Pine Tree Arch. That's Pine Tree Arch. Just a note, I'm going to say this once. The sign says end to trail. Stop there. You're not supposed to be walking around where they don't want you walking, and this place is covered with footprints. Okay, arch number 2, Tunnel Arch. Where is it? There it is. Right up there. It's actually 2 tunnels. There's a big one and then there's a little one there too that goes through. When you're out here, here's the drinking game. You see an arch, take a drink of water. That landscape arch right out here. not sure what that one over there is. I'm not quite sure. We stayed on the trail, honestly.
No, don't go away.
So, under here, Landscape Arch here, I stopped for a second, kind of show you how the trail changes from the sandy trail to coming up the fin here on the slick rock, and it heads off that away, and that's when that deer suddenly appeared.
Let's go that way.
He's coming right for you.
Dad.
He's coming right for you.
Doesn't seem that scared of me.
Alrighty, where are we?
We're at Navaho Arch.
It's a bit of a hike in, sort of a side trail. When you get up to it, you think it's just going to be a cave. And then you get right to it, and you see this whole world behind it. Well, this is a tough arch to photograph. But it's kind of cool back here, especially on a hot day. Down here, in a narrow canyon in between the fins. It's a nice cool place to hang out for a little bit. Just scampered up over the hill here on the slick rock, fairly easy section of the trail, and get up here. Got double O arch somewhere behind me we're going to get to see. The view out there is pretty incredible. Made it to double O arch. Interesting hike out here. So we made it to double O arch. Thought I was taking a lunch break, but it's only 9 o'clock. We started at 6:30 this morning. And these guys know when the food's around. No food for you. No. So you actually climb through the little hole down here to get to this side of the arch. It's worth it. There's not a lot of places to actually sit though. And we're here early in the morning. If you get here later, this is going to be in full sun. And it's pretty slopey, but it's got a great view from up here. So this is Private Arch, which is off the primitive trail. This is the back side of the arch. I'll show you the front side with its magical appeal. Because you follow the trail, you hit the sign that says end of trail, and you still can't see it until you pass the end of the trail a little. Stay on the rock, and you can wander around, just stay off the soil. So to get to Private Arch, you come down the trail out here, mostly walking on rock, and you come out, you're in the middle of the fins, and you see the sign. It says Private Arch, end of trail. And you think, what arch? Where's the arch? There's no arch. What am I missing? There's still nothing. And then take a few more steps, really at the end of the trail, and you start to see the arch appear. So the rule is generally stay off soil or potential future soil. You can walk on the slick rock, and so you can go beyond the trail here and explore, and even to the other side of the arch. Oh, you want scale? Alright, just completed our route of Devil's Garden Trail. Here's all the water we drank. We've polished it all off and are going to have to fill ourselves up now. We went out on the Landscape Arch side all the way out to Double O Arch. We left at about 6:30 in the morning, got back at about 11:20. 20,000 steps on my phone tells me. We were at Double O Arch taking our lunch break, well, more breakfast break at 9 in the morning. So about 2 hours to get back, and we took the primitive trail back. The primitive trail takes you to Private Arch, which was kind of nice, but beyond that there's no other arches until you get almost back to the main path in, where you can start to see Landscape Arch again. That path is a desert path. The other path, you're climbing through rocks, you're climbing through the fins, there's a lot of shade. At least there was when we went out first thing in the morning. Maybe not so much now that the sun is straight overhead. This is August. It is toasty out here. The breeze is nice, but yeah, bring lots of water. So after Devil's Garden this morning, it was hot. We'd put in 5 hours. Kid was very sleepy, so we drove off to Moab, got a good meal at Milts, I think it's called, burger and shake joint. The shake was so thick and the burger was really good. I had a blue cheeseburger. It was fabulous. It's a little back in town, it's off the main drag, and it seems to be a local place, and it's been there forever. Then we got gassed up, ran to the grocery store, took care of all those things before we head off tomorrow morning all the way out to Goblin Valley and then Capitol Reef. So we just fueled up. Sat here at the campsite, did our best to keep a little shade, cool down. It's about 6 o'clock now. We're going to head back out and hit the Windows District and see that cluster of arches. So I'll see you out there. But what we're really going to see is the Double Arch. There's Double Arch. Let's go take a closer look. Alright, I am sitting in the Double Arch. Let's have you let you take a look. It can be a challenging climb in up to that one. One last shot. Alright, I'm in the Windows District. To get here, come in on the main entrance road, turn right at Balanced Rock. There's a big parking area. There's a section over here and a lower section down there. The section down there is the quick trailhead off to Double Arch. On this side, where there's a restroom, is the Windows. And there is a trail going between. So you just pick a parking spot on one side, walk to the other. Alright, the easy way to see me is to get in the right light here. There I am. I came up the trail for the arch, for Windows and Turret Arch. Just went right. There's Turret Arch. And you get there, you turn around, and you can see both windows. Now we're all going to sit around and see if he can get down. Well, he made it down. Now my daughter's contemplating it. But as we look through Turret Arch, we're on the far side now. Get that little window. Over there is one of the windows. I can't quite get far enough over because the cliff face ends here to get him in the window Well, the good news is she decided not to. She's just going to go find a cave. Alright, we are on our sunset walk up to Delicate Arch. 1.5 miles uphill. Luckily it's 1.5 miles downhill too. Still plenty of people here at this hour, but this is when it's cool enough to make this hike. Got a great light behind me on that hillside. Climbing we go. About halfway up. Still got a ways to go. It's a hike. I'm at the point in the journey where you wonder, is it about the destination or the journey? It's been a fun journey. On the point of the trail where it narrows down, it means you're getting close. It's like a narrow mountain pass. I think there's another arch right there. Well, we made it to Delicate Arch. As usual, it's windy here, or windy and crowded. Even at the very end of the evening, we're probably going to have a dark hike home on part of it. But we got here. This is our last stop in Arches. We're taking off tomorrow, and I'll let you know where that is in the next video.